Oh, you're here. Sorry, I didn't hear you come in. Well, welcome to the tea shop. I suppose you're here for a cup of tea. No? Are you here for a story then? Well, I got you covered on that. I hope you don't mind if I have a little tea while we have our story. I was just thinking that would be just the thing. I do have a really good book of stories I've been reading. This one is called Rachel the Clever and Other Jewish Folk Tales. There's some really great stories in here. But I'm guessing, since the book is called Rachel the Clever, you'd like to hear Rachel the Clever story. Let's get started. Rachel the Clever, a folk tale from Poland. Once, long ago, there lived a king who was very proud of his clever wits. So proud of them was he that he vowed to marry only a woman who was as clever as he. Now one day the king stopped at an inn. There he heard the innkeeper boasting about his daughter Rachel, who was so clever she could solve any riddle. The king frowned. This is me frowning. I don't like liars, he told the innkeeper. I will ask you 3 riddles. If your daughter can solve them, you will be rewarded. But if she fails, you shall lose your inn. First, what is the fastest thing? Second, what is the richest thing? Third, what is the dearest thing? While you think about the answers to those questions, I'll have another sip of tea. Think you know yet? Well, let's continue with our story and see if you guessed it right. Sadly, the innkeeper went home to his daughter Rachel and told her what the king had said. Rachel smiled. You won't lose the inn, father. Go to the king and tell him that thought is the fastest thing. Ooh, did you think of that? I thought maybe a cheetah. But thought is the fastest thing. Life-giving earth is the richest thing. Well, that makes sense, doesn't it? And love is the dearest thing. I think she got it right. When the king heard these answers, he frowned again. He had vowed to wed only a woman as clever as he. Could that woman be Rachel, a common innkeeper's daughter? If Rachel is as clever as she seems, he told the innkeeper, I wish to meet her. She must come to my palace in 3 days. But she must come neither walking nor riding, neither dressed nor undressed, and bringing a gift that is not a gift. Sadly, the innkeeper went home, sure that Rachel could never solve this puzzle. But Rachel thought only for a few moments, and then she smiled. Don't worry, father, I know what to do. Please buy me a goat, a fishnet, and, 2 doves. Very strange shopping list. Bewildered, the innkeeper did as he was asked. Rachel wrapped herself in the fishnet, sat on the goat so that one leg was dragged on the ground. Clutching the doves, she set off for the royal palace. I'm Rachel, the innkeeper's daughter, she told the king with a grin. I've come to you neither riding nor walking, as you see. With this fishnet wrapped around me, I'm neither dressed nor undressed. The king felt himself starting to smile. And the gift that is not a gift? He asked her. Here. Rachel released the 2 doves. Before the king could catch them, they fluttered wildly and flew out the window. The king burst into laughter. That certainly was a gift that is not a gift. Now, Rachel was as pretty and kind as she was clever, and the king, when he forgot about being proud, was equally handsome and just as kind. They looked at each other once and liked what they saw. They looked at each other twice and forgot he was a king and she was only an innkeeper's daughter. They looked at each other 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And the king said, I wanted to marry a clever woman. You are surely she. Rachel, will you marry me? And Rachel agreed. But all at once the king remembered to be proud. But you must never disagree with any of the judgments I make at court, he warned. Rachel sighed. Very well. So the king and the innkeeper's daughter were married and lived so happily that for a long time the king forgot about his pride. But one day Rachel saw a peasant at court with a sad, sad face. I own a mare, that's a female horse, by the way. I own a mare that gave birth under my neighbor's wagon, he told her. The king has ruled that the foal, that's a baby horse, the foal belongs to my neighbor. The horse gave birth under the wagon, and therefore the baby belongs to the owner of the wagon and not the owner of the horse. Why, that's not right, cried Rachel. Go stand under the king's window with a fishing rod and pretend you're catching fish. The peasant obeyed. When the king leaned out the window and asked him how he could catch fish on a marble floor, the peasant answered, as Rachel had told him, if a wagon can give birth to a foal, then I can catch fish on a marble floor. Strange logic. When the king heard this answer, he knew that only Rachel could have given it. His pride overpowered his love. Since you have broken our agreement, he told Rachel, you must leave the palace. I didn't see that coming. Did you? She'll think of something, I hope. Even as he said these harsh words, the king felt his heart break. But his pride was still stronger than his love. You must leave, he repeated, but you may take your dearest possession with you. Well, I guess that's kind of reasonable. Rachel didn't weep or wail. Instead, she slipped a sleeping potion into the king's cup. As soon as he was sleeping soundly that evening, Rachel wrapped him up in a blanket, hoisted him up on her back, and carried him out into the night. The guards, remembering what the king had said about her taking her most cherished possession, and thinking that Rachel was carrying a golden treasure, never stopped her. The king woke to the sounds of birds and found himself lying under a tree in the middle of a grassy field. Rachel was beside him. Why, the king stammered. What am I doing here? Rachel smiled gently. I was following your order, she said. You told me that I could take my dearest possession with me, and that, my love, is you. The king looked into Rachel's warm eyes, and as he did, he forgot all about his pride, this time forever. Will you forgive me? He asked. Of course. And will you listen to me before you make your judgments? Of course. Come, my dearest possession, said the king. Let us go home. Well, it seemed to have a happy ending, that story. These days we don't usually think about our loved ones as our possessions, but it was a different time and a different fairy tale and a different story. So, that was Rachel the Clever, and boy was she clever. And I hope you come back and visit me again. I'll have another story for you. Take care. It's a nice day out. See you next time.